Hey, you skip, scap, scallywag, me's-arts, this is Dave and Zane Dawson.
And we're listening to Wrestling Nostalgia.
And welcome to Wrestling Nostalgia. I am your host, Dave Dynasty. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be a fun episode today. We have one of my favorite tag teams on the scene today, Zane and Dave, the Dawson Brothers. A great interview with them today. We have another installment of the best, worst promos, and this one really needs no introduction. This one I've had requested several times since we started doing these. Today, we're going to go to class, and we're going to learn a little Steiner math from Big Papa Pump himself, Scotty Steiner. All right. So before we get into all that, we're going to have the plugs coming up, right? I'm not going to push any of that right now. A whole heck of a lot. We'll touch base on that again at the end of the show. But we got the plug coming up for the social medias. We have the plug later for how you can support the show. Please listen to those. Take those seriously. They're very important to what we do here. I like to start the show by touching on anything that is newsworthy in the professional wrestling world that that I think applies to the what we like here at the show and the theme of the show. And I just want to really quick just talk about one thing. The announcement that AEW has partnered with the Owen Hart Foundation and Martha Hart, and they're going to do some things to preserve and promote the legacy and memory of Owen Hart. There's going to be action figures. He's going to be in games. They're going to have the Owen Hart Cup tournament. This is very, very cool stuff. And I know a lot of times I crack on the AEW and some of the people involved there, but they do a lot of good stuff. And there is stuff there I like. I just wish we could get rid of some of the garbage. I don't. It would make it a lot easier for me. But this is such a great thing, and I'm so happy to see this. And I mark my words, I'll be the first one to buy a new Owen Hart action figure. And but it'll be cool to see his name out there, and to see perhaps some new eyes on him that may know the name but may not be fully aware, and maybe there'll be some involvement with Bret. Maybe Bret Hart will come over and help. He presented the AEW World Title when they filled that way back at the beginning of the promotion, so maybe he'll have a little something to do with this. So anyway, that's all the news I really wanted to touch on this episode. I'm not feeling real great, and we have a very good this interview with the Dawsons. It's a good long interview, so. You're not losing a lot of content today, but so I'm keeping the front end brief. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a break. Here's the plugs for the social medias. Make sure you follow us on those. But when we come back, my co-host Ike Isaacs will have the interview with Zane and Dave, the Dawson Brothers. So stick around. Be sure to follow the Dynasty Wrestling Podcast Network and all of the participating podcasts on social media. The easiest way to find us is on Twitter. You can follow the network at WrestlePods, and you can find all the individual shows at their Twitter accounts. You can find the Wrestling Nostalgia Show at Wrestle Nostalgia, the Ring a Ding Dong Dandy Podcast at Stampede Pod, and the Wild Men Podcast at Wild Men Podcast. Also search us on Facebook for pages and groups. Participate, interact, join the network, and be a fan. Thank you for your support.
And welcome back to Wrestling Nostalgia. I am Ike Isaacs, and today I am joined with Dave and Zane, the Dawson Brothers. How are we doing today, guys?
Hey, we're doing good, man.
First of all, we got to change the name of this show to the Dawson Show.
I'll run that by Dave. I don't know if he wants to change it to the Dawson Show or not, but
no, we're not running it by anybody. It's changed. Now this is the Dawson Show. How are you doing?
Too bad. We got new bosses now.
That's right. Apparently, hey, if you pay me more, that's fine. But no. All right. Well, hey, we'll go ahead and jump right into this. Welcome to the Dawson Show. How about that? We're joined by the new owners, the Dawson Brothers, Dave and Zane. But all right, folks, we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. We're gonna go ahead and get to know these folks. So, guys, let me ask you, where are you guys from?
We were born in a small little city called Ventura, California, or Santa Barbara. I don't know which one you tell people. But on the West Coast. And we That lasted about 6.5 years, and we tore California apart and burnt the city down, and so we had to leave and move to Fayetteville. And I'll let my brother take over.
Fayetteville, North Carolina is where we were raised. That's where that's what gave us our nasty roots in the ring.
Absolutely. So that's makes a lot of sense. North Carolina is it's a hell of a place.
Yeah, especially Fayetteville. I mean, that's where we learned to snot rocket on people whenever they're down and kick them in the gut and stuff, you know.
No, absolutely. Oh Lord. Well, great. I mean, it's a very interesting upbringing. Say good old You said California, and then you moved literally all the way across the United States to North Carolina.
Yeah, man. Culture
we would
shock.
be considered your West Coast spot monkeys, but we transferred and moved to the Mid Atlantic.
Yeah.
That's where That's where we get all our flips and stuff from, you know.
Hey, there you go. All right. So I'm sure you guys get this question a lot, but I gotta ask, which one of you is older?
Dave is older, actually. He's older by 1 minute. And the only reason he's older by... No, I'm just kidding. I ain't going to tell you. Should I do it? No, the only reason he's 1 minute older than me is because when we were in my mom's womb, he rolled on top of me, and his umbilical cord wrapped around my throat. This is a shoot. I don't know if you got many shoots. I know people come in here and try to get the wrestling characters over on your podcast or whatever, but this is for real. He rolled on top of me in the womb, umbilical cord wrapped around my throat, and I almost died. So they had to emergency, C-section, remove us from my mom, and yeah, he was a minute older than me. But we're real twins, born on the same day, yeah.
Damn, I say competing from the beginning. I mean,
it's no better job that we need or should have than fighting people. And
yeah. There's nothing. I mean, yeah, been getting my butt kicked
since we came out the damn womb, since we were in there.
Been taking heat since I've been in the womb. You know what I mean?
Apparently, I was gonna say he's just like shooting on you all up in the womb and everything. Damn. All right. So, we talked a little bit about where you guys are from. So what was your childhood like? You guys play any sports? I know some folks do like the football or the baseball or stuff like that.
I mean, it sucked. Not because of it just where we lived at, man. We
Yeah, if you Google Maps Fayetteville, North Carolina, there ain't really much to do but get in trouble and fight. And
and I mean, us being two little burly, little husky kids running around. I mean, we loved wrestling ever since we were kids in California. So we were always trying to clothesline our sister and put our dad in wrestling moves and stuff. So we always stayed in trouble and, weren't much of school kids, because we're always trying to pile drive the teachers' assistants.
Shout out Mr. Shahosky. Almost drove him on his desk.
Yeah, he threatened to sue me, dog. Yeah, shout out to you. It just, spraying cologne on his back. We were just bad kids, man. Bad. I know that I'm going to get it back. You know what I'm saying? Because we were bad. And, being grown-ups, I know it now.
We're still bad. No?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Over to our adult lives.
Upbringing was great by our parents and people we were around, but it sucked. To answer your question.
I mean, hey, that's fair. That's fair. Oh Lord. So you kind of mentioned a little bit, but I'll kind of pick on this a little bit. You mentioned that you guys are wrestling fans for a little while here, a long time. Let me ask you, who are you guys fans of as kids? I kind of have an idea maybe, but I'm not quite sure what generation you guys grew up in.
Since we own the show now, we'll ask you what your idea was of who we liked when we were kids. Since you have the idea already, let's hear it. Let's hear your idea, man.
I was thinking I don't know why, but I was thinking since you guys are a tag team, since you guys are brothers, I'm thinking they probably liked tag teams growing up, and I don't know why, but the Bushwhackers came to mind. I don't know.
You were wrong. No,
damn.
No, we of course like the Bushwhackers. We liked all the people that were, I guess, loud in many ways, like the big loud guys that were characters, just like everybody. I mean, the only reason you like Hulk Hogan is because he was the biggest character. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Of course, we love
to answer your question about like who though. I as far as tag teams, we loved them all, but like as far as singles, like who made you love wrestling? For me, it was like the Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior and guys like that. And Roddy Piper, for some reason, was like, it wasn't because he was wearing a dress. He was just crazy. Like he got in the ring and he was just nuts. That's what.
Well, and I mean, you didn't, and the all everything, just all the character guys. You know what I mean? Like I was a Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, just because of the loud. Obviously, I don't like their work now that I'm a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? But like as far as who we were fans of, I mean, Big Boss Man. Like I thought he was my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, oh, he looks just like us, because we all had buzz cuts being little kids running around. So like I was like, that's my dad. Even though my dad was there, he kind of looked like him. You know?
Right. Oh my Lord. That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know why. I was like, I feel like it's got to be a tag team, and I'm trying to think of a tag team that like matched you, and I'm like, I want to say the Bushwhackers.
like how far back does your history go? How big of a fan are you? Because we're OGs now. You know what I'm saying? So we grew up in a time where it was different, and so I don't even know how old.
Yeah, I can remember a trigger moment for me. Like, this is what I love this forever. It was and my brother can tell you, we were sitting in the living room and Hacksaw Jim Duggan had just won his match, and I remember the camera zoomed in on his face, and he was blowed up. And if you don't know what blowed up is, you shouldn't be listening to this damn podcast. So he was blowed up, huffing, and he was breathing through his nose, and big old snot rocket just kept going in and out when he was huffing in and out, and it was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, no, it was horrible. It changed my whole thought process of Hacksaw Jim Duggan after that. Like, I was like, he can't even wipe his face off? He got snot running down his face with a nasty booger, like, wipe it off. And he just sat there and no-sold it, which I guess is great because of his no-selling ability. But you got kids watching you, man. You got snot all down your face.
Well, hey, in that one minute, he got you feeling a certain way and a totally different way from me, you know? So he did a damn job, you know?
Yeah. And then you got to wrestle him later. That was great. Circle of life. Anyway.
Yeah, later on in my career, I got to actually wrestle Hacksaw Jim Duggan. That was cool.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That is actually really cool. But I guess to answer your question though, actually, funnily enough, I turned 26 tomorrow, so I'm a youngin.
Ah, okay. So he's like, who are these old guys he's talking about?
No.
Who is Big Boss Man?
You know who Ray Traylor is, kid? No, I'm kidding.
See, a little shoot for you guys. So Dave Dynasty is actually my dad. So I grew up with like this is what I grew up with. Like, I didn't grow up with like a lot of the normal wrestling. I got to watch, things like, Dick the Bruiser and, all the golden age wrestling all the way through to the Attitude Era. So I grew up with the good wrestling.
Yeah, that's great. I got a whole new respect for you. Now we can talk. All right.
There you go. There we go. So the kind of play off.
Just go on there and say you watch Dick the Bruiser. They'll love you.
Exactly.
Yes, Dad's like, they're gonna test your knowledge about it, so just tell them Dick the Bruiser and you'll be good.
That's right. No. But actually, to kind of play off of something you just said, though, you're talking about Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the snot, and that being a turning moment for you in wrestling. On a slightly different note, obviously you guys liked wrestling growing up, all that good stuff. Eventually you wanted to become wrestlers. Was there like a legitimate moment where you're like, I want to actually wrestle. This is something I want to do with my life?
I know mine, but Dave, you can go ahead.
Honestly, man, I think that was the moment. like seeing the bug flying. You know what I mean? Seeing the bug coming in and out, that made me like, I want to do it, man. Like, I don't.
Yeah, ever since we were kids, I mean, like, we wanted to be wrestlers, but as far as like actually like taking the steps to do it, it was after we about got killed trying to do it, and without being trained.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
obviously you do it in the backyard like everybody else's story, but we were starting to be older, and we were like starting to do them with a guy that was running full shows at schools, and nobody was trained. Like, it was crazy. And I mean, he was getting 150 people. I don't know how he did it, but everybody was terrible.
Watch Tough Enough every week.
Everybody was terrible. He had, I don't know how he did it. He was a businessman. He was a better worker than anybody, but he wasn't trained at all. But we had a show there, and I guess these guys had heard about these shows and showed up, and they were actually wrestlers. And it was like, because we were just playing around, we were going out there and hitting stone cold stunners and rock bottoms on each other and choke slams. Like, we didn't know what we were doing. And the moment that these guys came to the show and like checked us, like, that's whenever it was like, oh man, okay, I really need to learn how to do this for real, and that's whenever I seriously was like, all right, I want to be a wrestler, because obviously when you're a kid, that's what you want to grow up to be.
Right.
But actually doing it is something else, We didn't start out as 14-year-olds, like we were in the backyard, not like death matching it up or nothing, but just like trying to be the Undertaker, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and there wasn't any really other option. I mean, I tried football in, junior high and high school and stuff like that, and we tried doing other stuff. Like, there was no college, there was no other options. It was, let's try this, and damn it, we're gonna do something with it,
Yeah. It always stayed with us. So I don't know if that answers the question or not, or if we were kids.
That's a perfect answer. And honestly, I feel like that's like an honest answer. You're like, it was when, like you said, you got in the ring with somebody who actually knew what they were doing. And you're like,
no, it wasn't even that, man. They just showed up at the show and were quote unquote fans, and they were heckling us, and we were getting mad, and but they were working us, and they could have and there was 400-pound guys in this group, so it was like we could have got smashed. It wasn't like we were all tough guys. So and they were like, y'all need to get trained. If y'all really want to do this, go learn how to do it the right way, because we could have came in here and beat all y'all up, and you couldn't have done nothing about it, kind of thing. And it was just like an eye-opening, oh man, and it made me want to do that, because I wanted to be the guys checking the dudes coming in. That's a whole nother story and issue. We can't do that now but like, as far as, I was like, okay, I need to take this. That's when I seriously wanted to be a wrestler. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, absolutely. And honestly, that kind of even points me in the direction of another question is, obviously, like you said, these guys came in and they're, heckling you and telling you need to get trained, this, that, and the other. And obviously you guys took that to heart. Like you said, you got trained. But when did you guys get trained, and who trained you guys?
Man, it was, go ahead.
Do you even want to divulge the year here?
It was right after that. It was like, okay, what do we need to do?
It's around 2002. I remember going to a training session February in 2002. So, actually taking it serious will probably go 6 months later. So, summertime, fall time of 2002. I guess. But
it was immediately following that
show,
with those guys, because we were like, hey, well, what do we need to do? Who do we need to talk to? Because we were already out there trying to do matches in a real ring. We just didn't know what we were doing. Yeah. And they were like, hey, you need to go to this show, meet this guy, and he'll point you in the right direction. So that's what we did. It's a core group of us that did it, that are, like our best men. Like, it was like the group of guys that we came into wrestling with, and we sought out a guy that he told us to go to another show, that he can introduce us to a guy that possibly might want to train us or tell us where to go. And we went to that show. But in my mind now, he was just seeing if we were serious. You know, if we were going to call up and say, I can't make it to the show, man, I'll see you next time. You know, we showed up at the show and he introduced us to a guy named Trey G. And I've told this story before, but like he was a Eminem Slim Shady type of gimmick whenever that was hot. Like that was like the main thing going on. And he was just this loudmouth heel that, like, I mean, it captivated me, just like we were talking about earlier about the guys that are screaming and yelling, the bushwhacking, like that's what it was. Go ahead, Dave.
And he was a smaller guy too, so it was like hard to believe that he could beat anybody. So like we saw that, like, that's how you do it if you're not able to make them believe physically. You got to run your mouth, and that's what made everybody hated him at that show.
It was insane. So whenever we met, and before we even met him, it was like we were captivated by because I walked in on him in the ring. So like we're like, man, who is that? And then being introduced to him, it was like, yes. So I mean, and he, man, God bless him, Tracy Gilbert, Trey G. T.I. Gill on Facebook. I know
Gil, we love you, bro.
Yeah. He took a chance on a group of kids because he knew that we were trying to do it the right way, and he trained us, man. He came out every week and took his time and showed us the right way to do it, and we ended up being his boys, you know. And
we weren't just some once every couple months wrestling either. He had us every single Sunday, every Wednesday. We were running shows, selling dollar tickets.
That was like into the wrestling. But as far as like at the beginning, like he was like, I'm gonna be here, but just make sure you give me everything you got, and I'm gonna, you know. And he's learned from like Ricky Morton, George South, like all these guys he learned from. And Ivan, he had a close relationship with Ivan Koloff and learned so much from him. So that's where the tree of knowledge that we come from. And then after we got trained, we took it upon ourselves to, you know, go other places that had knowledge and that we could, you know, learn from. And seminars, we were doing every seminar that we could, from, you know, George South to Terry Funk and Harley Race, you know. So
Smothers and Morton's.
But he like surrounded us with the right people, you know, like he had us around Ricky Morton and the Midnight Express, Dennis and Bobby, rest in peace. Like he had us around them, and Tracy Smothers, rest in peace, and just so many guys, Larry Zbyszko, and it was a lot. So I mean, I'm so glad and grateful for him, you know, because he took a chance, and he knows it. I love you, Trey G.
Oh, absolutely. I mean that sounds incredible too. I mean you named some of I would say some of the biggest names to grace both, you know, professional wrestling in general, but also like, you know, independent wrestling as a whole. So I mean, it's like that's pretty incredible. So I mean, with all of that training and everything else that you guys eventually got through, I mean, you went on to eventually debut and then have a pretty incredible career. But something I am incredibly curious about is that as a tag team, you know, obviously you guys had all that training. You had a lot of really good, I would say, exposure to other people who were in tag teams, people who knew what kind of dynamics you need to have between two people. But what was your first match as a team like? When was that, and what was that like?
Man, you know,
I don't even remember.
Nah, not really, because like we literally our first match, I don't even, because we weren't.
Our first official match was against each other, and then
we weren't
team after that, but we weren't trained at all.
Trained at that point, you know. And then after we got trained, like there was some things going on, so like I kind of would do shows, and then he would come in and do shows, and we would do them together. But it was. I feel
terrible that we don't know this already.
It was in the RWC days, like when we started teaming up, because you came in as sick with it, you know, as my partner.
I guess it would be against Team Drive-By, Trey G and old Draven. Shout out Draven, brother.
But no, it was like, because man, we're twins, so I mean, we literally grew up doing this, so it's like. You know, it was natural. It was just cool that we were allowed to beat people up for it. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
No, but yeah, as far as it, from what I can remember, those times when we were doing those tag matches, because like I said, they, like I was saying earlier about the beginning, like he always had us doing something. So we were doing training on a Sunday and then doing these shows, and there'd be 4 people in the crowd, or it'd be all the wrestlers' girlfriends, or whatever, hanging out, and it's literally was that. That's so like I said, I feel bad that we haven't kept a better record of it, but we've done so many matches that it's like ridiculous to remember. But I loved it, if I can give an answer.
No, yeah, it felt natural to me, just because it was like, definitely. Man, we get paid $10 to go, beat up some people or whatever. So
we get paid a handshake
it was cool.
Handshake and a hot dog.
We didn't even get hot dogs. It was a burnt DVD of some other wrestling stuff.
Damn.
They didn't even give us the real DVD. It was a burnt copy.
Oh man, I wonder how many people out there who are like younger who don't know about burnt DVDs. And that honestly makes me sad, and I'm not even that old.
At least give me the real one. At least give me the DVD.
Right.
Yeah.
Good Lord. So, I mean, and honestly, that's a perfect answer, because, honestly, you guys have done so much and you've had so much experience. I don't expect a lot of people to remember like their first tag team matches or their first matches, for that matter, but it's always good to hear the answers people give me, because I just love them anyways. But so a little bit of a different question here, because obviously we've talked a lot about your guys' like upbringing in the industry and sort of your experiences with training and some of those beginning matches and whatnot. But you guys are a part of independent wrestling. Independent wrestling, I feel like right now, is probably the biggest and the hottest it's ever been in a long time. So being a part of this industry, what is your opinion on the best and worst part of independent wrestling?
Oh man,
that's a good question. As far as the bad, I would go with the obvious, and that's being away from family and loved ones and kids and mamas and all that stuff. The good part is another thing that you can't really explain. It's the rush that you get from doing what we do, and that's I can't explain it, but it's the feeling of being out there. There's no comparison to it,
No, absolutely. And thought we lost Zane for a second either.
I think I'm here. I had to switch I had to plug my phone up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I just heard the little beep beep, and I'm like, oh, somebody dropped. But so I mean, that was a perfect example. You're right. I mean, being away from family is always rough, especially in any industry. But professional wrestling, there's so much traveling and everything else. And then of course the best part, the rush. Independent wrestling has a very addictive part to it. Definitely an addictive side to it.
And it's like I said, it's a you can't really explain it to anybody, but it's that feeling of being out there, and it's a lot of guys will say holding them in the palm of their hands, and that is the drug, I think,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a weird feeling. But yeah, it definitely is the best.
That's probably the best. And the worst.
Are you wanting like dirt? Like, what's the worst part? And like, are you wanting us to crap on people?
Oh, no.
I mean, we could if we needed to. We're talking about crappy promoters. If
we're talking about the way independent wrestling is now, like, or
I mean, obviously, if you want to crap on people, go for it.
That was the podcast answer. You give the shoot.
No, I'm just saying, like, it changed a lot, because like when we started, it sucked. Like, it sucked. It was the can I cuss on here?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, it was the shits, man. Like, it was the worst. I mean, we came in. I'll never trade it for nothing. Like, we came in great. We're around great people, and I love the way we came in, because it made me appreciate the way it is now. But where did all this money come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, we used to get paid nothing. Like, I remember getting paid burnt DVDs. Like, that was literally my payment. And, like, take this Jake the Snake shoot interview. What are you talking about? Yeah, and like, but like, that was our payment. Take this, and here's $20 for the car, for gas to drive 2.5 hours. Are you kidding me? Like, it sucked back in the day. There was, we were the best guys around, and I'm so glad that we got trained the right way. Right? Yeah, that's never gonna change. But unless we move, you know what I'm saying? If we move, then we won't be the best guys around here. We will be the best guys wherever we move to. But like, it's to me, like, we had that to go on. So like, we didn't, but it sucked, man. Like that. But independent wrestling now, I want an explanation. Where'd all this money come from, and why? I mean, I need my rate met. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, why is String Bean getting paid and we out here?
Yeah, this isn't 2000. This isn't 2004 anymore.
String Bean's working Great Muda, and
Great Muda. Yeah, y'all got money now. I want my rate met. Anyways, no, it sucked. It sucked back in the day. I mean, there's some people that would argue that it sucks to this day, but that's neither here nor there.
But yeah, so that's the worst part. That's definitely the worst part.
Pay me, man. You know I'm worth it. Don't be trying to act like I ain't worth it. Like I ain't gave years to this. Like me and my brother ain't gave years to this. You gonna pay me. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. And actually, I mean, I've heard the same thing too, is that like there are a lot of folks who, especially, obviously there was a time and age where professional wrestling wasn't nearly as exciting as it is now. There was certainly a lull and like, people going to professional wrestling and doing stuff like that. But yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I feel like every person I've ever talked to who wrestled in the early 2000s has a similar sentiment. They always say, yeah, I got paid a handshake and a hot dog. I got paid jack shit or nothing. And
dude,
I mean, it's rough.
It was the dog shit.
No, and then
Tennessee to wrestle in a airplane hangar, and we got paid 7 balled up $1 bills. Driving to Tennessee, come on, man. Like that was back in the day, but we got him. But yeah, just these people need to do better, man. They out here, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Pay my train.
Do better. Now you know better, so do better.
Yeah,
that's right. Good Lord. So a little.
I'm gonna have so many people mad at me that when they hear this.
That DM is about to fill up, y'all.
Well, we ain't paying him no more. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're good. You're good. No, hey, I mean, if people want to get mad, that's fine. I mean, they can get mad as long as they're watching and commenting. They can get mad all they want.
But I don't give a damn. Say something. You can't beat me up.
That's right.
Y'all beat me up. So no, say what you want to. Anyway, go ahead.
That's right. That's right. No, you're good. You're good. I was just gonna say, and honestly, that's a really great answer to that question, because I mean, independent wrestling has so many great things, but it has so many bad things too. But on a slightly different note, many people became aware of you guys when you wrestled for the revamped NWA, and I'm just curious, what was your time there like?
Man, it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun. I don't want to say discovered us, but I guess right. the straw that broke the camel that made them want to come and and bring us in. We did a show in Tennessee for Crimson TNT Tried and True, and we actually wrestled the War Kings, Jax, Dane, and Crimson, and we beat that ass. And as soon as we were in the back, we were excited because we went to Tennessee, our first time in Tennessee, and tore the roof off. And Dave Lagana walked up to us and said, "What are you guys doing on this date?" And us being the humble young lions that we are, we said, anything, we're doing anything you want us to, Mr. Lagana. And he said, "Good, you guys are booked for the NWA Power tapings." And we were under the impression that we're just going to do a 2-minute segment, or a 2-minute seg in TV, as they call. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, so we were under that impression. We're just going to go down there and do our thing, but then we had a lot more when we got there.
Yeah, man, it was a good experience. Nothing negative. We learned a bunch. We're around a bunch of good guys and got to wrestle some good matches, but for the most part, it was positive. But we ain't there now, so
right.
What does it matter? You know what I mean?
Well, and actually, that kind of leads into my other question: is any chance that we'll see you guys in an NWA ring again?
I mean, if they want real wrestling, I don't know. We're down. I'm down for whatever.
Right way, and we'll do it.
Listen, the price that was yesterday is not the price that's today. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if that money's right, listen, we grew up in Fayetteville, man. We're and we're grown men now. The only thing I'm worried about is as long as that check clears, man, we're down for whatever. We'll fight anybody. We'll fight anybody. Like I said, we learned from the Midnights. They clapped for one of our matches. They taught us the right way. We learned, and we're around people like the FTR. We're down to do whatever. Like we'll go back to NWA and bust somebody's head open. That money better be right though.
No, absolutely. I don't blame you. Money's got to be right for, what is it that they always say? Everyone's got a price tag, and you're like, as long as you're paying my price tag, I'll do whatever you want me to do.
That's right. $1 Million Man was another one that I was a fan of as a kid. That laugh, you know what I mean? And he's right. Everybody's got a price, and you can pay me. If we don't learn anything from this podcast, that you're gonna pay us.
That's right.
The price that was yesterday is not today's price.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm getting hyped
Dawson's at gmail.com, by the way.
Yeah, he's getting me in shoot mode, man. I'm gonna stop caring here in a second.
No, you're good. Hey,
dog, get that pace on. Let's do it. Let's
Lord.
get a dirty quote. What's up with a real question?
I'm worried about my phone dying in the middle, and I'm just all hyped up for nothing.
Well, let me ask you, because this one might get you going too. Obviously a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about wrestling today, and we even kind of talked about the state of independent wrestling. But as a long running tag team, what is your thoughts about the current state of tag team wrestling? Because in a lot of ways, it's a lost art. A lot of people, fail to do it properly. A lot of failure to launch. But what do you guys think about modern tag team wrestling in the current day and age?
I mean, we've had some kind of different opinions about it, because I guess there's some cool aspects to the newer style of it, but we're old school, man. We need rules to break, because if you get the damn rules out of there, there's no rules to break, and then we just got to punch you in the teeth, and we'll do that too, but that's
gonna happen regardless.
Yeah, we like that part of it. We like to not be seen, and we big as hell, so that's even harder to not be seen, but we attack it, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, are you talking about the way tag team wrestling is now, where people don't follow rules or people don't put thought in their matches? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, whatever, because I mean, I know a lot of folks, they don't care for modern wrestling at all. Obviously, there are people who talk shit about it all the time, but I understand that you guys were definitely brought up in a different age of wrestling, especially when it came to tag team wrestling. And I mean, how many tag teams are there nowadays that people know that are notable, Yeah,
and you look at teams like FTR that are using the old school stuff to fix all this shit now, or not. I guess It depends on what your perspective on what you like, but they're coming in and making it better than what it was, because it wasn't. Nobody knew,
Well, yeah, and here's what the deal is now: is they're telling you how it really should be, so that way the fans know what's expected. Because too long have people gotten away with just doing whatever they want. And they were like, hey, and this is 100%. I mean, there's guys on the front lines, the trenches down here that are keeping it alive. But them FTR, I give 100% all credit for like saving tag wrestling. Like, that's no shot on anybody else doing tag wrestling that's entertaining. Obviously, Young Bucks matches and stuff are entertaining because they're cool and they got a bunch of cool moves. But like, FTR and them are showing everybody, just to let everybody know this is the rules and this is how it should be done. Now go ahead and do whatever you want. Like, it's going to be shit out there regardless, everywhere. So, and now it's just going to be up to the fans to make their own assumption based on, like, what's really going on and how it's supposed to be. If you still choose to, be for the flippity doodah, whatever. And I'm not shitting on it. I love flippy, crazy matches. I just think you can think about how to, like, whenever I see it thought through and whenever I see them going along with the rules, I love it, and I'm not saying it's not out there, but
right.
Because we do it. We follow all that whenever we're trying to figure out how we're going to do things in the ring. We go through that thought process regardless. So everybody else should have to be on that standard. You know what I mean? Of having to figure it out.
Time into think,
Yeah, that's the art of it. Just because you are a wrestler doesn't mean you're automatically an artist. Like, you have to really be a part of this. Anybody can go out there and Canadian destroy somebody, but whenever it comes after a tackle, drop down, leapfrog, then it's really something. You know what I mean?
Oh, Lord.
You writing all this down? Because he's giving you straight game.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, and shout out to FTR. They're the ones that literally, like, they're the ones that were like, hey, just to let all you fans know, like, this is how it's supposed to be done.
And then
still be dope because they're doing the best matches. Y'all know it. Don't hate. Like, everybody can see it that they're on a whole different level. And they're proving it every time they go out there. That's the way it should be done,
And they take from, it's not like this is just some brand new art that's been discovered in the cave somewhere. Like, they're using the stuff that the Midnights did, back in the 80s and rock and roll did, and just modernizing it. That's all it is. It's the same. Why fix it if it ain't broke?
Right. I've heard that a lot about wrestling. Why fix it when it's not broke? I've heard that a lot. But no, absolutely. I really enjoy FTR. I've been trying to catch up on some AEW, so I've seen them pop up here and there, and they're definitely something to behold. And you're right, like you said, if it ain't broken, why fix it?
And it's worked this long, and I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not picking on the other stuff. Obviously, it's entertaining and people dig it, but it's just like we were ignorant whenever we were doing shows until them guys said, hey, this is how you need to be, because we could have murked you. You know what I mean? Like, it goes on. It's the same thing. Like, now know the information. If we would have went off and still done backyard stuff and not got trained, then if we'd have got the shit kicked out of us or whatever happened after that, that's on us. Once you have the information, it's up to you to make the choice now. Now view it and hold everybody else to that standard. That's how we are. We hold everybody else to the standard that they held us to that day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing with this tag stuff. FTR, let everybody know what the deal is, and now it's up to everybody to choose what to do with it. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. 100%.
Hey, I'm going to join this call on a laptop. Are we, like, I'm trying to get it to where my phone doesn't die on us if we're.
No, yeah, go for it. Go ahead.
Bam, we in there?
Yeah, you're right there.
All right, I ended the one. Can you hear me? We good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sweet.
Right. Look at that. That was a professional switch over. Like that was quicker than
Man.
shit.
In the kitchen on my knees, you know what I'm saying?
Lord. Oh Lord. So I guess to kind of I got a couple more things here for you guys, but
you guys now, dog. I got a fully charged laptop. No, I'm just kidding.
And a seat too. Yeah.
Hey. Yep.
That's funny, man. Well, hey, so here's what we'll do. So one of my favorite questions that I love to ask people who come on the podcast, but it's especially good when I get tag teams or multiple people, just because I don't know, I always get great answers out of this. But so we know a lot about you guys as wrestlers, what you do in the ring, what you do, what you're about, all that. But what is one thing that most fans don't know about Dave and Zane Dawson? What are some things you guys like to do outside the rings? Any crazy hobbies or anything like that?
I'll start by saying people might not know this, but we are some pretty mean pool players, man. If we get on the pool table, it's pretty rare that we get knocked off of it. So I haven't shot in a while, and I don't know how long it's been for bro, but I know we're smoking them on the pool table.
Yeah, it's like riding the bike. I mean, you learn that in the bars, working in the bars. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't good at something, you better be good at pool.
So what's a talent nobody knows about you? What you think?
A talent? I think I'm a pretty good like story, I guess a writer, maybe, like creating stories and, not necessarily wrestling related, but just I feel like it comes pretty naturally as far as like, even if it's a 30-second sketch or, I feel like a story, coming up with stories. Is that a writer? I don't know what that means.
No, that's good.
Storyteller?
Yeah. So, hey, storyteller, writer, that both those words.
Not in a bad way. I don't be lying.
Did you hear that?
People,
Did you hear that, pro wrestling world? Did you hear that, pro wrestling world? Zane Dawson is a damn storyteller, brother.
Yeah, I don't be like lying to people. Like, I don't want people to take it the wrong way. I mean it in the, fictional sense.
Right.
Creative.
I'm not like, oh, don't tell him that. And he'd be telling stories. Like, nah, I'm talking about in a creative, like artistic outlet type of way.
There you go. Yeah, no, I got you.
I'll tell you another thing. I feel the need that I have to explain myself on it. No, I'm just kidding.
I have the same superpower.
There we go.
Yeah. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Oh, Lord. So, well, first of all, as we kind of wind down, I want to real quick say, thank you guys for taking the time out of your day and having a chat with me. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you guys. So, first of all, I want to thank you both for taking time out of your busy days and giving us some time to chat for sure.
Awesome, man. No, not a problem. We're not bad guys when it comes to getting online and talking. You know what I mean? It's just when people like, right when we walk out and you yell that we suck, like that's when I got a problem. Like, you don't even know me. I ain't even done nothing bad yet. So we're good dudes,
That's right. That's right. Hey, you came on here and I said, welcome to Wrestling Nostalgia, and you said, no, welcome to the Dawson Show.
Yeah, we stole your show immediately. Good guys.
Right, exactly.
Fayetteville. Yeah.
But so as we wind down a little bit, one thing that I also want to know is, we've talked a lot about the past, a lot about your opinions, but I also want to know a little bit about what you guys are looking forward to do in the future. I mean, we're almost all the way through 2021. We're about to roll right into 2022. So, what are some things that we can expect from, what can we expect from the Dawson Brothers in the coming year?
We gotta work tomorrow. I'm kidding. But no, I know a lot of wrestlers and promoters are going to hate when I say this, but we are not hanging the boots up ever. So we're going to continue to just tear through any locker room or any, pro wrestling event that we feel like we should do.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, here's the deal. Me and him have been doing this since we were born. We've been actively, professionally wrestling for like almost 19 years. So, and the pandemic was the longest break I've ever had. And
Me too.
You know what I mean? We come from working hurt, so we're always looking to do the next big thing or next whatever, and we're capable, obviously. You know what I mean? So like I hear people say, "Oh, this is my year." Listen, every year is our year because we're gonna keep doing what we've been doing, and that's beating people up for money. And you're gonna pay me. Like I said, you're gonna pay us. And you know what I mean? Like we beat up George South. Say that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Can't nobody do that.
And if you don't get anything from this podcast from the Dawson Brothers, Zane and Dave, the price that was yesterday is not the price today.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that's what's in the future. That's what's in your future. Listen, if we're on your show, it's gonna be what people talk about when they leave. I know everybody says that, and they say, "Oh man, I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna really get me over." Listen, they're talking about us on the way home. They're saying, "Did y'all see them two ugly dudes make my cousin cry?" That's what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? They're saying, "Oh, did you see them big dudes running around like they was small?" That's us. They're talking about us. So that's what's in the near future. And we're not butt kissing guys. That's probably why we're not famous. You know, that's probably why we don't have a job. And we're not in like the greatest shape, but like who's counting? You know what I mean? 2021, you know what I mean? You can't shame me. I'm gonna jump behind that thing here in a minute. And y'all gonna be giving me a job because I said you shamed me 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious, man. Like
for the podcast answer though, obviously we'd like to go to a company like AEW or Impact or WWE or NWA or Ring of Honor or any one of those. If you want to hashtag all them.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to ruin opportunity for us. You know what I mean?
Never that. But this is the that's the podcast answer for all you.
Yeah, but you better come with that bag.
That's right. Hey, that's a perfectly fine answer, podcast answer or non-answer. I don't care. It is. Well, it's wonderful.
People always come at you with, we really give you the money that you pay. We give you way more than that. You know what I'm saying? And we're not one of these.
And you know it.
These guys that come on here and I got to charge you extra for a promo. No, like it's like if you're a pro, you know what to do, bro.
Yeah,
like,
see, this is gonna be our passive aggressive way to like shoot on people, but you know that we're the best. You know that everything we do is that. So that's what we're gonna keep doing, man. That's what you're gonna get in the future and forever until we decide to stop. Then there'll be another, greatest tag team. But until we're done with it. I done gave too much to wrestling. I'm getting every bit I can out you.
That's right. Oh, Lord. So,
just think about two twin big-ass Devos running around pro wrestling. That's what we are.
That's what I'm doing when I'm done. That's what I'm doing when I'm done. Oh, I'm coming to collect when I'm done. When I hang the boots
chains up. And everything.
When I hang the boots up, I'm snatching everybody's pockets, man. Look, I ain't got nothing to hold me back. I ain't got to worry about you booking me no more. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, sorry, man.
No, you're good.
We're taking the Dawson show a little too far,
Well, thanks everybody thanks for tuning into the Dawson show, everybody.
Hey, I think people pay good money for that. Hey, but they better be paying good money for that, I guess I should say.
Right.
But
you don't learn it.
That's right. But hey, here's one last thing for you folks, because it's been wonderful talking to you, but I also want to give you an opportunity. You kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, but social media, people want to follow you. I know they'll want to follow you. So where can folks follow your guys' careers and all that good stuff?
Man, Dave Dawson on all social media at Dawson Brand Pro Wrestling. My brother here is at Zane Dawson on all social media.
Yeah, that's Dawson Brand PW on all of them, and Zane Dawson on all of them also.
Also, in case anybody
Yeah, look us up, man, and follow us on Twitters and Instagrams and stuff. We got all that. We probably posting stuff about my dog, and be posting stuff with his daughter and stuff, you know.
Yeah, and if you want to book the Dawsons, it is very easy. It is bookthedawsons@gmail.com.
That's
or
right.
hit us up on any one of those handles. Send us a message, and we will get back with you.
That's right. And go to PROWRESTLINGTEES.com/Dawson shop for all of your t-shirt needs, man. We got all types of stuff up there.
Damn. Hey, you guys got it all. That's awesome.
We just need a job now.
Right.
And if you go to slambuddies. No, I'm kidding.
Slambuddies.com, get your plushes. Don't give us a job. I'd come, you know what I mean? I'd come learn how to be the master of the swinging neck breaker or something like that. Give me a damn job. No, I'm just kidding. But for real, you're going to pay us.
Real.
That's right. Well, hey, so if anybody out there is wanting to follow them, make sure you guys follow them on all their social medias. If you want to book them. And that is Dave and Zane Dawson. And I just want to make sure people out there heard that right. That is Zane, Z-A-N-E, not Shane Dawson, not the YouTuber.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Not at all.
If he's got a show and wants us on there, we can go on there too.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll fight him for it. I'll fight him for the
fight him for his name.
You know what I mean? But
hey,
not that guy.
Right, different guy. But all right, folks. So, like I said, if you aren't doing it already, follow them, and if you haven't yet, and you're a promoter, book them, and but make sure you pay them enough, because if not, you're gonna have some issues. But
just YouTube us. You'll see what's up.
That's right. But all right, Zane, Dave and Zane, thank you both so much for coming on here, giving us the time to chat. It has been a pleasure to get to know you guys and to learn a little bit more about you. But we're going to hand it back over to Dave Dynasty with Wrestling Nostalgia.
Thanks for being on the Dawson Show, man.
That's right, the Dawson Show. That's right. Thank you for coming on to your own show, the Dawson Show.
There we go.
Support all of the podcasts here on the Dynasty Wrestling Podcast Network. The best way to do that is go to our Pro Wrestling Tees store. It is at ProWrestlingTees.com/TheDaveDynasty. There you will find all of the shirts that we offer. I Heart Old School Wrestling, Bruiser Buddy, the Podcast Mask shirt, and of course, the official shirts for the Ontario Wildmen and the Ring a Ding Dong Dandy podcast. Visit ProWrestlingTees.com/TheDaveDynasty, order a shirt, and support the network. If you would also like to support, you can join our Patreon. It's at patreon.com/DaveDynasty. There you will get exclusive audio and video clips, early releases on podcasts, and much, much more. And if you would just like to make one-time contributions to support us, you can go to paypal.me/TheDaveDynasty. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for listening. Continue to support independent wrestling podcast. Welcome back to Wrestling Nostalgia. I am your host, Dave Dynasty. Thank you to Ike Isaacs for conducting that interview, and thank you to Zane and Dave, the Dawsons, for coming on and doing that interview. Again, I am a huge fan of theirs, even if they are trying to hijack my show and say it should be now the Dawson Show. But that was a great interview with them. I'm so happy they came on, and I hope we can work with them again in the future and have them back on and do some things with them. But thanks to them for coming on. We're going to now go to our best, worst promo of all time. And I was hesitant to ever put this promo in here and never use this one, because to me, this sets the bar, right? The Steiner Math promo sets the bar for ridiculous wrestling promos. I crack up every time I hear this thing. So I was always hesitant to put it in, because I thought if you put it in there, everything else is going to pale in comparison. But like I said, we had a lot of requests for it. A lot of people saying, oh, it's an obvious choice. So we're going to do it. Here it is. Big Papa Pump himself, Scott Steiner. Everybody knows I'm a big Scott Steiner fan. So, you know, this makes me happy to have him in here and on the show in some capacity. But here it is. The next installment of the best, worst promo with Steiner Math.
You know, they say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Small Joe, and you can see that statement is not true. See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal. So you got a 25% at best at beating me. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix, your chances of winning drastically go down. See, the three-way at sacrifice, you got a 33 1/3 chance of winning. But I got a 66 2/3 chance of winning, because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me, and he's not even going to try. So, Samoa Joe, you take your 33 and a third chance, minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning at Sacrifice. But then you take my 75% chance of winning, if we used to go one-on-one, and then add 66 and 2/3%, I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning at Sacrifice. See, Joe, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice. See, but I'm going to break it down for all you ladies. Would you rather be with me, or would you rather be with Joe?
Well, I think Joe's kind of nice. I mean, you know.
See, you're one of those girls that like romance. I'm going to talk to all my freaks out there. Would you rather come home to me, a genetic freak, to be satisfied every night, or go home to that fat-ass Samoa Joe? See, tonight, we're going to win, and I'm going to be the world champion at Sacrifice. Come on, P. Let's go.
Scotty, just like you always say, Big Papa Pump has got your hookup. Well, Maple Leaf Muscle is who you need to look up. Holler if you hear that.
Oh, and there you have it. A little Steiner math, a lesson from Professor Pump himself, Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner. Oh, man, that promo cracks me up every single time. Thank you for listening and joining us this week. Thank you for everything you do to help support Wrestling Nostalgia and the Dynasty Wrestling Podcast Network. Make sure you follow us on all of our social medias. You heard all those earlier. And then make sure you share the episodes and post and comment and like and just get involved, right? And join the discussion. Again, you also heard how you could financially support the show if you would like to do that. Everything that is sent goes right back into the show. It helps keep everything free. It helps keep the lights on around here, pay for all of our services, our hosting, any equipment we need to replace or upgrade, etc., etc. And we do appreciate that. We appreciate everything you guys do out there in the world and everything you do to support us here in our world. So, just be nice to everybody out there. Be kind. Remember that, an opinion is an opinion and not necessarily a fact. That's something that I think everybody truly needs to know and learn in this world. And we'll be back next week with another episode. Actually, check that. Coming up October 3rd, we'll have the next episode of the Ontario Wildman with their part 1 on Whipper Watson. So that'll be a great episode there. Then we'll be back next after that with our next episode, which has Moretti on our show. So until then, wherever you go and whatever you do, be good, be safe, and keep on growing.